Hello, TECA1318. Welcome to your week 2 explanation. We're continuing on looking at nutrition. And so with that, we've got lecture materials, we've got a discussion, we've got that's due on the 18th, the quizzes by the 19th, and then your field experience 1 by next Sunday. The lecture content so far, there's one about macro and micronutrients and what those are, a basic one over your digestive system, the dietary guidelines that are currently in place, and then this is Jamie Oliver's talk about things that need to change in the American diet and school lunches. And it's a systematic thing. We just can't change what we do at school. We also just can't change things at home. It's a system that has to change. And we are currently in our country looking at lots of things that are systemic and need a lot of change. And so how do we get kids eating healthier? If your body never eats processed sugars and salts and fats, then your body tends to crave the things that it needs. If you're deficient in iron, you tend to crave meats or spinach or things that are high in iron. If you need potassium, your body craves bananas. And so your body is really sufficient. Here's the nutrition discussion. And so there's 3 chapters, 2, 3, and 6, and we'll go a little bit more in detail what each of them go over. But as you can see, we need 3 people to sign up, and then the 10th person, you'll be able to pick which one you want. And so as you can see, people have come in. I've already gone in as test student in reserve number 3, but you can go in and put this in, and then when you're done, you can go back into edit, and you can upload your attachment there. You're going to take 16 concepts, and then you're going to create it. So there's lots of free sources. This is called EduPlay. And so you can create a quiz, a memory game, matching. You can go into Quizlet and create a matching game. You can go in and also do crossword puzzles where don't just, you'll give the clue and then the answer will be in there. Or a word search, and not just the words, but like they'll search for the words that way. Lots of fun ways to do it, to go over the different concepts, because when we talk about nutrition, sometimes those concepts can get really heavy. For quizzes, NACE standards. Oh, the other part is remember, there are 2 deadlines for this. And so one, you need to go ahead and post as it goes back. You will need to post, Emily's posted hers, and then you will go back. So since Emily did chapter 6, she now has to go back and post on somebody who did chapter 3 and somebody who did chapter 2. That way you're able to practice material in each of the chapters. Then you have your NACE standards quiz. Our child development program is nationally accredited. And so this is the standards. This is our conceptual framework, which is the beliefs that we have about how adult learners learn and what we think about child development and early childhood education. And so you'll use both of those to take the quiz. There is a test bank, so you may not get the same questions both times. Then we're going to go into chapter 2. Chapter 2 is the foundations of optimal nutrition. So it goes in to understanding how nutrition affects you. By the end of this class, you're going to learn how when you have proper nutrition and you grow healthy and things like that. So Mackenzie has had oral face dysphagia. She's done a lot of work in therapy to develop a rotary chew and the muscles in her face and things along those lines. But the whole thing is she got a virus, and because she wasn't eating enough nutritional things, her body couldn't fight it off. So she ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks, and you don't grow. And so it's called catch-up growth when you finally get the proper nutrition and you grow. So this is what this is looking at, guidelines, things along those lines. Next is the science of nutrition. This is where we're going to be talking about what are vitamins, what are minerals, fats. There's more caloric take to burn a fat, then protein and carbohydrates, and it all goes into storing it fat if you don't use it, things along those lines. And what is nutritional science? And the last part is, hold on, chapter 6, which is menu planning. And this is how do you plan balanced meals? And so this goes right along well with last week when we were looking at meal planning and the food programs that are out there. This just goes a little bit more into how you do it, how do you write menus, and if you are doing the videos option for the 16 hours, there's several videos in there about meal planning and watching people do some meal planning, things along those lines. Let me go back. So that's 2, 3. Field experience 1. So if you are in a child care center, it would be great if you don't watch your own kids. If for some reason you can have a break during that time period. This is a video that goes in depth about what to do in each one of these. These are your NAEYC DAP standards. So this is going to talk about family style dining. All the best practices when it comes to feeding according to that. So this is the NAEYC accreditation if your child care center wants to be NAEYC accredited. At Snack Time Teachers, teaching staff, this. So these are them. So look for those in there. There are really 2 parts to this. The first part is looking at the nutrition of it. So you're going to be looking at their menu. And so I go through like you've got to create criteria, then you grade the menu, then you make corrections. Then you're going to watch them during lunch, and then you're going to look at their feeding practices. You're also going to draw a layout of how the children sit. Now, I have this pulled up. So this came in my email as of last week. All of the things that were in place for COVID have been removed. So here you can go back to family style dining if you want to. And these are the requirements that were in place. And so even right now, it's all fluid. And when we get to health, we can talk a little bit more about it. But then you're going to talk about how nutritious their foods were. And if you're talking with kids, asking them questions and things along those lines. If you cannot go into a child care center, this is what you're going to be doing. Let me pull this up. So this is where Mackenzie goes to school, and these are the menus that they have. So you'll pull each of them up. You'll be looking at the nutrition that's there. Because Mackenzie goes there, they send me pictures. And so what I will end up doing, I think I have one of their lunch. So this is the cafeteria. So you can try and see what they're having that day. Mackenzie has her own lunch. Like, how are the kids? And try to do your best like you're there. If you have been in the classroom, think about conversations that are going on. What would you do? Those different types of things. So make it work the best that you can. I understand what is going on with that. I will go in there. There is somebody in here who has an allergy. And so I'll put that information in there as well so you can add that to your field experience. So that's what you'll do with that. As you can see how important each of these components are. And yeah, so that is your week 2 explanation. I realize once again it's gone long, but I wanted to make sure you had some context for this week.